My fish fam, it's Nikachu, Merfolk Master. We're going to be playing the free spell namer deck today. Free spells, because we're playing with Disrupting Shoal. We're playing with Force Negation, Flare of Denial, all to enable our namer Submariner. But what I really like about all the free spells is we got more disruption for like turn 2, any sort of nonsense. Someone plays like Corey Steelcutter, a Johnny, Goblin Bombardment. Screw them. Disrupting Shoal, pitch a Master of the Pearl Trident. Didn't need it anyway. So, still I really like the deck. I like how it feels. I like the build. I like how it plays against basically everything. The only disadvantage is we're still losing, even though the games are better. We're still losing to things like energy, prowess, or basically any creature-based deck that's super fast, in affinity included. I'm hoping Chalice of the Void in the main deck is going to be lean things a little bit more in our favor, a little bit more in our direction. It helps versus all of those decks, prowess, energy, and affinity, although Chalice is way better versus affinity if you know you're up against affinity. However, because of their like two drops, like the enchantments that make all those landmines, they will hold back on their 0-drop before they play it. So that actually still makes Chalice playable even in the dark versus an affinity deck. Now it's going to weaken us versus some other mid-range decks, but I think that's a sacrifice we're willing to make because those fast decks are a pretty large percentage of the metagame, and you know what? I'd like a little bit more help if you don't mind. This deck also has a few more islands in the deck than the original build, given the fact that, well, first off, I'd like to play my stuff on curve a little bit better and just give us a little bit more game versus the Boros Ponza deck. I love the deck. Oh, we're at one different thing. Because I moved the Chalice into the main deck, I'm not sure. I can't remember what I removed. We moved Chalice into the main, moved some stuff to the sideboard. I had 2 more slots in the sideboard. Decided to put Eaten by Piranhas in there just as a few extra pieces of creature interaction that doesn't get tripped up by Chalice. Oh, I removed a Dismember because I think 4 Dismember in a deck like this with like Hydroelectric Specimen is very painful. Hydroelectric Specimen, Sink into Stupor, very, very painful. So let's like lean on something that A, doesn't take damage like Dismember, and also Eaten by Piranhas will trigger our namer. If you don't know what Eaten by Piranhas is, it's a flash aura enchant creature, loses all abilities, and is a black skeleton creature that is also a 1/1. So I mean, Unable to Scream might also be a possibility, but that gets tripped up by Chalice, and the less things we get tripped up by Chalice versus the energy and prowess decks, the better. I think. I'm not 100% sure. All right, let's get into our league. Round 1, we are on the draw, I believe, versus apparently a control. Oh, it's probably the Boros Ponza deck, actually. We have Kihira over here. Our hand just only has 1 land. Like, I sort of can keep it. We can play, like, 1 drop into another 1 drop. We have access to Flare of Denial. We have Force and Negation in hand. We have a Silvergill Adept the moment we hit a land. But you know what? Let's just mulligan. Especially against a deck that's going to attack our lands. This hand actually in some way is bad if this is the Boros Ponza deck. I don't know for sure. It might be because we don't the island. We want the search for that island. I guess we're going to keep this. You know, we're going to keep this. I like this hand. Okay. I'm going to put the island back in the deck. It's the whole idea is that if you're gonna Boros Ponza me, it's not going to be completely for free. So we will go. How badly do I need to get something in play? I might actually need to save this Tide Shaper for Disrupting Shoal just to counter a random. How do I put it? Counter like a random 1 mana removal spell, maybe. Otherwise, like this Tide Shaper is like worthless. Like just putting a 1/1 out there doesn't seem very useful to me. Bad value. In my opinion. No! It's an actual control deck. Alright, well, playing the Tide Shaper out turn 1 would have been better. A lot better. A million times better. Okay, now what do we do? Okay, we're just going to play cards, I guess. Hopefully we don't get hit by Reprieve. I guess I'll show the Tide Shaper. Don't know which one's more relevant. Sink into Stupor is fine. So if our opponent follows up with, say, Teferi, we can Disrupting Shoal pitch the Hydroelectric Specimen. We'd have a pretty good curve if I start off. If I knew this was control like these, I think these days right now when I see Kahira, I just think it's by default the it's pointless actually countering that. Yeah, I'll let that go. When I see here, let's play this thing first. When I see Kahira, I think Boros Ponza more than anything else. We'll play Hydroelectric Specimen. I will bolt myself. We will play a Lord. And pass. I still have Disrupting Shoal into Sink into Stupor in order to get rid of the annoying Teferi if there's going to be a Teferi in our future. Opponent gets the plains. That's fine. You can get whatever you want. Looks like this is going to be a Wrath. Oh, Wrath the Skies for 2. Unfortunately, I do not have... Oh, no, I do have something here. So I can 2-for-1 myself to keep 1 creature on the board. Is that, like, worth it? Or I get 2-for-1. So it's just like, do I want a creature? I'm going to lose 2 cards anyway, no matter what. Okay, I guess this is so awkward, Wrath for 2. I can deal with a 2, a 3, but not a 4. Okay, we'll sack our Tide Shaper. I'm a little desperate here because I'm really low on resources, but now yeah, that card is not going to be good in the main deck versus this deck. In fact, it might be useless. How useful is it? If I, like, shock, sink... I'm trying to think of all the 2-drops that I might hit. I don't think there's that many 2-drops in these decks. There's, like, Solitude. It might be fine on 1 to hit Ephemerate. Maybe it's fine on 1 to hit Ephemerate. Just in case there's going to be a... What's it called in the future? Solitude into Ephemerate. I honestly, I don't even know what's in the deck. Okay, Hall of Storm Giants. Please tap out. Sweet. We get to play the Drawry Disruption. I'll slow them down every single turn from here on out. Boom! This Disrupting Shoal is going to be really bad now. Oh, sick. We can counter that too. I mean, this might not resolve. Oh, it did resolve. Shock. Get Kahira. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting the idea that I'm sort of getting the sense that our opponent is very light on resources, but like, I mean, I need resources myself. This Hall of Storm Giant is not nothing. Well, I might as well play my Hydroelectric Specimen. Okay, you can bounce my Lord. They might bounce the Chalice. My opponent says, betrayed by the Hall of the Storm Giants. Because I guess if there wasn't a hall, maybe they could have paid for the Drawry Disruption. There's Kahira. Oops. No, I don't want to go anywhere. It's a weird, so we're not losing anything here. Fortunately, opponent has double white already. Okay, let's play our... Let's play something uncounterable right now. Not that this is going to make a huge difference. Okay. Hall of Storm Giants offline. Prismatic on Master, probably. Oh, on the Chalice. Okay, so probably there's a Solitude Ephemerate into our future. And it's going to be very painful. Oh. That's fine, too. Actually, it's not fine. I'm not happy about that, but you know, we're just going to have to live with it. We've got another Chalice. So, swing everything at Teferi, I guess. Can't let that thing stay on the battlefield. I'm going to trade with Kahira, but we're going to keep Teferi on a very low loyalty count. Honestly, I think we're just lost. Maybe our chances would have been way higher. I think we're going to keep the Chalice on 1. Apparently, it was good enough. Oh, I see, because of Spell Snare. Okay, well, that was a weird exchange. That was a bit of a weird exchange. Weirder than my weird over here. Okay, well, step 1. Let's get this Harbinger of the Seas out again. Shut off the Hall of the Storm Giants. Unless this thing is going to get activated this turn. Which it is. Syncs up their turn, so we're just going to pass. I need our opponent to, like, brick a little bit here. Oh, that is not a brick. It's very far from it. X is the number of lands you control. This is where we're probably lost. Can't cast spells. Can't cast spells and I can't attack. All right, well, okay then. Pass the turn back to you. Okay, let's cast cards. Let's draw cards. Another weird card. Okay, well, I'm going to put myself in a position to try to kill this Teferi. Even though this is probably not worth it. All right, that's fine. Okay, we concede. Okay, let's hope game 2 is better than game 1. Game 1 might be like a very, you know, a lot of people like to look up their opponent to see what they're running, see what they're playing. And so like an extra edge I could have got was like, it's significant too. If I can see my opponent is lately playing Jeskai Control, not Boros Ponza, playing the Tide Shaper on turn 1 is it's super significant. I've sort of debated about doing that in the leagues because in general, when you play in Paper Magic, you don't have access to your opponent's deck list. But there are a lot of like premier events, for example, like regional championships, which are open deck list now. So it might be more standard to just make plays assuming you know what your opponent's deck is. Let me know in the description if you'd like to see a little bit more of that. And I can just quickly look up my opponent before the game starts. But traditionally, I try not to do it when I'm actually playtesting a league. I usually do it when I'm playing in modern challenges, though. Okay, we've got... Let's take out things that are worthless, because Chalice is pretty worthless. Maybe it's not worthless. I don't want to play it, though. Hexcatcher is going to be fine. Sveiloon is also good. Is there anything that's, like, really bad here? Probably Harbinger of the Seas is not that good. A few are fine just to shut off the Hall of the Storm Giant, and randomly, sometimes you can win with it. Randomly. Consigned Memory, is that helpful at all? Probably not. Okay, I think I like this configuration. We are probably like, this is awkward. We don't have access to Ether Vial. At the same time, Ether Vial not as strong when the opponent is playing with a bunch of prismatic endings. So we're like a clunky tap out Merfolk deck versus a control deck. A lot of our old-fashioned advantages aren't so great, or I don't have access to them. But at the same time, like, you know, when I'm up against a control deck that's playing with prismatic ending, I sort of lean on like shaving one or two Ether Vials. I don't really want to depend on it. My opponent doesn't even have a hand yet. What's going on here? Okay, we're going first, which is unfortunate here because I only have one land, so we got a mulligan again. It's a good land too. Sands playable. Not in love with it though. Yeah, we'll keep it. We'll dump one island. This is one of those games where we're just going to put some stuff on the battlefield and hope our opponent doesn't interact with it. Or interacts with it very, very poorly. Because if we just get 1-for-1, we just lose. This deck has 0 instant speed creatures. 0. Oh, we got Namer. Namer's on the way. Sick. That sounds good to me. All right, let's buff up our little Tide Shaper. I suspect our opponent has Spell Snare, hence why they start off with a Hall of Storm Giants and not a fetch land. Or they just don't have a fetch land on them. But we'll see what happens. Oh, got another creature. Yeah, maybe we'll just let the... I mean, I feel slightly incentivized just throw that Hexcatcher out there, but you know what? Let's wait on it. You'll do 2 more damage. Would it have been worth it? 2 more damage. They go to 11. And I have 8 power. No, it doesn't change the clock. Or not enough, anyhow. We got Kahira. Is there like a supreme verdict in our future? It's gotta be supreme verdict in these decks, right? Can we afford to play around Supreme Verdict? Yes. Do I want to? No. I don't. Okay, Solitude gonna come down. Okay, that's a good sign. Pitching the Kahira. We cannot pitch anything to protect ourselves from Solitude. So Lord of Atlantis is probably gonna hit the bin. And we're still gonna have about 4 power in play. Plus the Namer. If we can get that in play, which we cannot. All right, we attack. So now we have a 4-turn clock. Awkwardly, unless our opponent fetches one more time. Which they might. They might do it. Okay, we'll force this. Okay, going to 8. Was this Mystical Dispute? We're all in, people. We're all in here. We're super all in. That was Not the greatest. Well, whatever. Maybe it's okay. Maybe Flare of Denial was a good draw. What is this? Rat the Skies. No, we're gonna sacrifice our Hex Catcher. 2-turn clock now. The little Tide Shaper that could. Can Tide Shaper cross the finish line? If it doesn't, maybe Mutavault can. Rat the Skies this. Not enough lands in play to activate Hall of Storm Giants. Now this is tempo. Oh no, is there a Solitude here? Orm's Chant with Kicker, okay. Okay. Fetch lands offline for now. Okay, something went to the graveyard. That's good news. Tune the narrative. Each player's going to draw and discard a card. Okay, goodbye, Force of Negation. I drew... Ooh, this is good, actually. We can shut off all the... Oh, I can't cast spells. How I quickly forgot about Orm's Chant. How quickly we forget about Orm's Chant. Okay, interesting. I have the option to play this Harbinger of the Seas and then pass, and then we just figure out what our opponent wants to do next turn. Because this looks like... I think I'm just going to play this and pass, and that should shut off like most of what our opponent can do. Oh, is this going to be Solitude? No, okay. This is going to activate, so that's a good, very good sign for us. And then we're just going to pass the turn. And then we have like even Sink into Stupor to hold up on our turn if some shenanigans happen. And we win the game by sacking 1,000,000 cards. And of course our opponent has just more lands in hand, because that's how you win versus control. It's always nice to do that on the play on a mulligan. The odds are against you always. Well, Harbinger of the Seas, you actually really helped us there. Yeah, unexpectedly our opponent had no basic planes. Nothing, not a zip. Okay, is there any... Okay, so hold on. Chalice of the Void actually has some purpose, because it cuts off Orm's Chant. Is there anything else? It's too niche. Like, I don't think I should care about it. I don't think I should care about it. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it as it is. It's like, it doesn't add to the board. It gets hit by Rat the Skies. It can be removed by Prismatic Ending, worst case scenario. The hand is a hand. I'm going to keep it, even though it's really clunky. Look at that. We drew a 1-drop, of all things. So we're going to play our 1-drop. See if we can get our Namer in play. Would like my Namer. Namer, please. Is our opponent just letting us play stuff? Oh, does our opponent have any mana? Oh no, yeah, they have white. So if they have white, they have everything. They have this, they got it all. Okay, we can do I care how much? Do I care that much about this thing? Yeah, probably. How much am I attacking for next turn? I'm attacking for 6. Opponent goes down to 12. It's gonna be close. Okay, I'm actually threatening lethal by next turn. In the most caveman-like strategy possible. Of just putting the lords down and attacking every turn. Just don't Supreme Verdict me. You can Rat the Skies, but you can't Supreme Verdict. Oh. I had a request! I had a simple request. Don't Supreme Verdict me. And I still can't even play my Namer. Namer would be awesome there. Like ripping a land, playing Namer, and holding up Force of Negation. That would have been just boss. Well, now what? Now that the fact that Namer comes too late, This is like turn 5, and we didn't get Namer in play like once in either of the games. Maybe we need more lands in this deck. More lands. But more lands makes the deck run dry for the most part. Okay, I will... Well, we have to counter it. But might as well counter it this way, I guess. We're going to get hit by Mana Tithe. Nope. I'm sadly going to play into another sweeper. Because I could have what's it called? I could have used Disrupting Shoal, exile our Namer, but then we have no option to like we'd have one Lord in play. My opponent still has like 3 cards left in hand. Ugh, comes into play tapped. That sucks. Why can't it come into play untapped? Well, I guess that means we can hold up the Droid Disruption. Oh no, but it's not worth anything. Wait a minute, I could have countered that. Oh, okay, that was a smidge of a punt by me. I should have countered that with this Droid Disruption. Like otherwise it has like no other value. Okay, maybe go get Kihira. No. Oh boy, this is gonna be ugly. Okay, let's get Namer in play. And maybe I'm going to play this Disruption now. Or so I'm going to put the Disruption in play so that if I draw a land, I can play Namer and Vidalian Hexcatcher on the same turn. Yeah, Namer would have been great this game to, like, when we had the option. After we got Wrath, play Namer and then start countering things, and we just have a bunch of bodies on the battlefield. I bet we would have won. I bet we would have won. I mean, I don't know what the last card in our opponent's hand was, but based on like what we've seen, it's not just an Erode and a, or I guess also a Narset. Narset is not that big of a deal. Opponent finds Orm's Chant, which is gonna suck. On the other hand, we can play Hexcatcher on our... No, we can't play Hexcatcher on our opponent's turn. Okay, I think I'll just say good games. That looks good enough for me. It looks good enough for me. Close. All things considered, the match was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. There is a reality that with this deck, I feel like this deck mulligans a good chunk because it just doesn't have like a lot of mana to start the game with. Unlike our like 20 to 21 land plus 4 Ether Vial builds. This is like, what is it, a 20, 21, 22-ish land deck. So you mulligan a little bit more frequently, which is very punishing on the play versus decks like this, where we're like super down on resources and we're just praying. You got to play like that tempo-ish plan. But there was a lot of opportunities to win the game. Like if the Supreme Verdict didn't exist, we might win. Although I would say the game probably plays out very differently if there was no Supreme Verdict in our opponent's hand. They would probably start playing a Road or something like on our creatures. But anyway, I thought the matchup would be a lot worse, and it felt a lot more even. And especially after that verdict, if we could get Namer in play, it was still a game. We didn't get that Namer in play, so it wasn't really a game. See you guys all in round 2. Here for round 2, we won the die roll, and we have an incredibly painful hand on the play, but we're going to keep it. No pain, no gain. I mean... Oh, we're up against the Cosmogoyf deck? Oh no, we're up against... the Cosmogoyf deck? Yeah, I think it's still the Cosmogoyf deck. And a Gemstone Caverns. They might have Cosmogoyf out, like, almost instantaneously. So what does that mean? Do I need Tideshaper out on turn 1? Maybe I don't. Maybe I want to start the game on a Tideshaper. Mess with their mana. If I have any intention of racing this, or like racing past a Cosmogoyf. So, what is going on here? Oh, the Devourer of Destiny. Cosmogoyf immediately. Okay. I really need the Sink into Stupor. Well, this doesn't have... So what I need... There's a lot of things I need. I need to get a Nammer in play. Well, I need to chump block for a few turns. How about that? Let's start by chump blocking. That's actually a strategy I didn't think about. You could play Tideshaper on turn 1 just so I can start chump blocking on future turns. Or do I... Maybe I disable my opponent right now. This gets rid of, like, Thud. It gets rid of a lot of stuff. So how about... I can't remember. Is Thud instant speed or sorcery speed? I think it's instant speed. Thud MTG. I'm pretty sure Thud is instant speed. Oh, it's sorcery speed. Sack creature, it deals damage equal to the sack creature's power to any target. Okay, that's fantastic. So what that means is if we go... Oh, man. Okay, hold on. How do I want to do this? I want to go Silvergill Adapt into Nammer. I want to go Silvergill Adapt. Okay, let's do that. Or do I? It's complicated. It's complicated. Because if I Tideshaper this and they just play a random land, then nothing changes. Okay, I don't have that information. We're gonna go on chump block duty. We're gonna show a. I'm not gonna show Nammer. I don't want them to know. They don't need to know about Nammer. Flare of Denial. Very interesting. Changes some stuff. Because I can now sacrifice Silvergill Adapt. See, they had a land. So playing the Tideshaper was worthless. You don't have Trample, Cosmogoyf. You don't have Trample. I'm going to take it. Especially since we need the Silvergill Adapt in play in order to get value off of our Nammer. What is this? Plunge into Darkness. Pay any amount of life, then look at that many cards from the top of your library. Put one of those cards into your hand, then the rest into exile. You want to pay a lot of life. Entwine for black. You can do both. Sack any number of creatures. You gain 3 life for each creature sacked this way. Okay, that is... I think that's fine. We can Flare of Denial or Force Negate, like whatever they go get. Oh, wait a minute. No. Then it just... Hold on. It exiles everything? Hold on, what was it? Yeah, okay, I'm stupid. I had to counter that stupid thing. I'm an idiot. Okay, well... it exiles the cards, which grows the Cosmogoyf. I don't need to... That was the threat. That was the threat. Okay, so what are we getting here? Hexcat. Hopefully this matchup is a slam dunk. Oh, Eaten by Piranhas actually looks really good in this matchup. Eaten by Piranhas. What else do we want here? What do we not want? Chalice on 2. Like Chalice. So the thing is, Chalice looks like a very good card in this matchup, but unnecessary. I'm going to take it out. Harbinger of the Seas can win on the spot. Namer. Maybe we just shave one Namer. No, I don't want to shave a Namer. Let's shave a Lord. The rest of the deck looks awesome. I think Harbinger of the Seas can just win on the spot. This deck's very weak to Harbinger of the Seas. We won the die roll again. Not technically. Good enough hand. We're gonna keep this. Always got to keep that exile zone open. Fortunately, a bunch of junk got exiled, so opponent has a bunch of good stuff. And another Devour of Destiny. Maybe in this case I'm not playing Tide Shaper. The only advantage to playing Tide Shaper right now is... I guess I could hold up Jory Disruption on the following turn. Okay, I'll just play it. So we have a random blocker if we need a random blocker. Seems like the hardest part of the Namer deck is just getting Namer in play to do anything. Seems like an awesome card. Seems like a great card. Once it's on the battlefield, that is. Like I mean, I like the fact that it flies not only for natural evasion, but also to just block annoying flying creatures that are in this game. You know what I mean? Okay, no Cavernous Souls. That's always good news. Okay, we can Disrupting Shoal, counter this, tossing our Jory Disruption. We got a Hex Catcher. Lovely. I'll just throw it out there. No point in playing around anything. I wouldn't say there's no point, but let's say our opponent has that instant, like was that Plunge into Darkness, it's instant speed, so they could like pass the turn, we play Hex Catcher, then they played this in response, so by playing this right now it is better. Okay, take our Namer. Or Sync maybe, but probably the Namer. We're going to take my other card. All right, you got it. Oh, it's legendary. Yeah, I forgot about that for a second too. Oh no, I drew Harbinger of the Seas. I needed that Sink into Stupor. I know better now. Harbinger of the Seas is just GG. Super GG. No! Okay, I got a Lord. Unfortunately, no Island Walk, though, so we're just going to pass. Oh, actually, okay. I can't get killed by this Plunge into Darkness crap this time, because I have a active Hex Catcher on the battlefield. Oh, this is different. Exile all cards other than that revealed this way. Okay, well, now we're countering things again. I mean, I guess I could have let it resolve. There's a chance they die, right? You lose 1 life for each of the exiled card, for all other cards exiled this way. Is it possible you can go through 15 cards? The odds are against me, but maybe the odds are better. Maybe I'm better off just letting this happen. Choose a card, reveal cards on the top of your deck until you reveal a card with that name. Put that card into your hand. You don't know the top card of your deck. If I take 11, I have to chump block this Cosmogoyf till the cows come home. Do you know what? I think I'm just going to let this resolve. And let's hope they lose 15 life. They just have to go through 15 cards. I honestly, I think our odds are better. Oh, damn, it didn't happen. All right. Oh, no, this is only 17 damage, though. Okay, that's pretty good. That was, I guess that was an alternate way of winning the game as well. Okay, so... Oh, which means I should just never have countered it. Then I'd have an extra creature in play. Maybe I could have just won the game from here. Okay, interesting. Interesting. How are we going to do this? Okay, we're going to play... Okay, let's shut everything off. Play our Harbinger. Attack for... I think we attack for 5, block, and we attack for 5 again. Alternatively, I attack for 3, block with this thing, then I attack for 5. Is that how that would work? Okay, hold on. No. I could attack for 3, chump block with Hexcatcher. The next turn, attack for 3. But then I have to block again. For the longer this Harbinger is in play, my opponent is locked out of the game. So attack for 3, chump block. Then I could attack for potentially 5 or more. Do you know what? Let's take this line, because if I draw a creature, I win. So if I draw a creature, an interactive spell over the next turn, I win. Every single turn this Harbinger is in play, and like, so all my outs are just drawing a random creature. Like, those are all outs to winning the game. So I'll attack for 3 with Harbinger of the Seas. So, like, do we draw a creature here? No, but that's good enough. So we can attack for 5. The Eaten by Piranha is going to eat up this Cosmogoyf. And I have to do it now just in case my opponent has Pact of Negation. You're a 1/1 skeleton now. You used to be the entire universe. Now you're Bones. The mortal Bones. Eaten by Piranhas wins! Alright, we go on to game 3. I liked my analysis there in the end. Every creature is a top deck, every interactive spell is a top deck, or is top deck to win. So I think it was better to keep the Harbinger of the Seas on the battlefield. Okay, what else? Is Chalice of the Void good enough? It's Spoils of the Vault, Inquisition. Like, a lot of the important stuff is 2 mana. That's my problem. I'm just going to run this back. I'm just going to run it back. I don't care. Eaten by Piranhas. Okay, we lost the die roll this time. Ooh, well, your Gemstone Caverns is worthless now. Take that, Gemstone Caverns. We do not have Gemstone Caverns, but we do have Harbinger of the Seas, and we have a Flare of Denial active by turn 1, so that's good. I like the hand. I like it a lot. I'm definitely going to keep it. Oh, well, we can't beat. Apparently we can't. Okay, these are both bad. There could be turn 1 Cosmogoyf. And I have no means of countering anything. Oh, sorry. No, we do have Cavern of Souls for turn 1. So that does work. We're going to get smacked by a Cosmogoyf for a few turns. Oh, we do. We ripped the Eaten by Piranhas. Okay, so this is actually working out great. So, okay, we're going to play our Tide Shaper. It's going to trigger the Chancellor of the Annex, which says whenever an opponent casts you reveal it from your hand. And if you do, when they cast their first spell, counter it unless they pay 1. But I'm playing this off Cavern of Souls, so screw you. So we get through that trigger. Probably what's going to happen is we'll let them attack. If they do another like card where they're like Spoils of the Vault or something, we'll counter it with Flare of Denial. Yeah, here's spoils. I think we'll counter it, play Eaten by Piranhas. And then hopefully there's not much follow-up after that. Who has priority here? They're holding priority? I didn't let this thing resolve, did I? Did I let this resolve? I hope they're holding priority. I didn't click anything. Not that I know of. I'm sort of sweating bullets here. I'm hoping my opponent is accidentally holding priority for some reason. Okay. I do get priority here. Whew. It's like, I don't really want this to resolve because they can just name some card that's... Oh, no. They can't name a card that's not in their deck because then they'll lose all their life. Is this a situation where I want to keep this thing on the board again? Probably not. They can name a card... Well, they can't name... They have to name something that's in their deck. They can't go put their life total to 0. Okay, let's just be safe and not take infinite amounts of damage. Okay, we'll play our... What's better, Specimen or Sink? I think the Specimen should go in first. Okay, we'll put this on top of your Cosmogoyf, so you can't play Thud next turn. Or you can play Thud, but it'll be for 1 damage. So now if I draw, like if, let's say they play another Cosmogoyf. Then if I rip a land, the Sink into Stupor can bounce that thing in the end. Ooh, very damaging. Ugly. Can this just please win? Let me just win with this stupid thing on the board. That's the magic of Merfolk, everyone. That's the magic of Merfolk. Opponent played Cosmogoyf turn 1 with Chancellor of Annex backup. Still is worthless. Didn't mean anything. I assume they have Dismember or something in the deck, which is why they're playing on. Which is fine. We have a lot of creatures that are on defense. Actually, it doesn't matter if they get Dismember. My opponent says, good games, well played. Little did they know, I punted so unbelievably hard in game 1. Unless they had Pact... No, even if they had Pact and Negation, I had 2 counter spells. I completely screwed that up. This is what we want to play against all day, every day. Probably other decks, they are crying to when they have to pair against the Cosmogoyf deck. We are happy with any build of Merfolk. Anyway, that was round 3. Let's move on. No, round 2. Let's move on to round 3. All right, round 3, we're up against M. Hayashi, who also shows a Kahira, but this time this is definitely Boros Ponza. Like, I see M. Hayashi's posts on Twitter every so often, and this is definitely a Boros Ponza deck. Okay, so we are gonna keep this hand. I don't know how great this hand is, but it's good enough. And I think we'll start off with Hydroelectric. I think maybe we actually keep the Hydroelectric Specimen. Which one of these I want to start off with first? Okay, we'll start off with Droid Disruption. I don't think this is going to be very like, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be super useful. Or maybe it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. Candy Trail. Enter Scry 2, sack it, gain 3 life and draw a card. I'm not familiar with that card. Okay, hold on. I thought this was a Boros Ponza deck. I hope it still is a Boros Ponza deck. I could be dead wrong here. Ooh, Silvergill Adept, not bad. I was just looking at my hand. This Namor is actually not that strong. Could be a lot better. Show the master, I guess. I don't want to show any of the 3-drops, personally. Okay, there's Ghost Quarter. Can I draw a counterspell? Ugh, no counterspell. So I can't protect myself versus Erode, even if I play Harbinger of the Seas. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna curve. I'm just still gonna try to curve out here. Let's attack for 2. Play Mutavault, and I'll play. Should I just play Harbinger of the Seas? It cuts off all my chances of, like, I'm sure this is just a Path to Exile effect. That's only my only problem here. This is definitely a Path to Exile effect. Okay, I'm gonna play this. Let's see if we can set something up. Let's see if we can set up the bomb. Actually, there's one problem with this. If my opponent just plays 1 Demolition Field, I'm screwed. Okay, so we're gonna look, the island's already paying off. Not that I can afford to do this for too many turns. Blast Zone. Blast Zone. Okay, let's play the Sink. So if I Tide Shaper the plains, my opponent can still Ghost Quarter the plains to get another plains if necessary. But then they're down a land, which is better than nothing. Okay, let's start by attacking for 2. I have the Hydroelectric Specimen now to divert at least 1 removal spell. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I can't play anything this turn. All right, well, I guess we're just going to pass. So, perhaps the most optimal option was actually to... okay, so nothing changed. But the most optimal option might have been to play the Tide Shaper earlier. Sack it. Yeah, sack this artifact. So if they want to pop the Blast Zone on my Tide Shaper, they're also popping it on their oh no, they're not popping on the Candy Trail. This is not playing out the way I want it to. Not really playing the way out that I want it to. But they're not super far ahead on resources either. Oh! They are far behind now. Okay, hold on. Let's cancel. Oh no, but they could still have Solitude. Solitude is still a card, which unfortunately I can't play around. So I just have to hope our opponent does not have that card. Okay, Maze Mind Tome. Draws a card. And mind you, actually, if they deal with the Harbinger of the Seas, the plains is still locked down. Funny enough. Okay, here's Solitude. Probably to deal with the Harbinger. Oh, deals with the Tide Shaper. Fascinating. Keeps our Mutavault locked down. Is there another, like, plains in your hand for, like, Rat the Skies? I don't feel like I have any room to play around this, so I'm just going to empty our hand and attack for 8. And attack for a bazillion next turn. What's the conditions on here? There are 4 more age counters. Sorry, more page counters. Gain 4 life. Okay, so this can gain some life. Only scries 2 though. So they can kill off a lord. I'm still attacking for 6, 8. Oh, it's not lethal. Actually, it's super not lethal. They can sack this to gain some life and draw a card. Go to 12. What were the conditions? It was 1 top, 1 bottom. Okay, no ephemerate, that's good. Ooh, hydroelectric specimen is a great draw. Ward off any of those nasty, what's it called? Erodes or anything like that. Okay, they put the card on the bottom. Let's get this card thing back up. Put Kahir in hand. I think the game's over. Yeah. Game 2. I think Dismember is useless. What are you up to, M Hayashi? What are you up to? Do you have Ephemerate? Ephemerate doesn't like make a whole lot of. I mean, I didn't say it makes 0 sense, but it's okay. Chalice of the Void is good. Chalice of the Void is good. There's a lot of 1 mana and 2 mana cards, so Chalice in the main here is awesome. What else is awesome? Tide Shaper is dubious. Like this whole winning with Harbinger and Tide Shaper, a little shaky. Like honestly, not that all that reliable. We want as many cards as possible that can hold their own on the battlefield. I think Svelun is a great card to have in the deck, even though, and actually, you know, this will work super well because our opponent will ramp us under most circumstances. So we're gonna get ramped. I want to keep everything, but I can't keep everything. Do I reduce some free spells? Disrupting Shoal looks might be the most awkward card. I can counter a land destruction card, but that's about it. Yeah, that's about it. I can't hit many things for 1 because of the Tide Shaper. So maybe we remove some Disrupting Shoals. Like these things counter Rat the Skies, which is the most important. Do I want Hexcatcher too? I think I do. I think Hexcatcher might be slightly more valuable than a, say, Lord of Atlantis. And I want everything else with card advantage or some other upside advantage, so we'll submit it like that. It's possible Tide Shaper is just worthless. But, you know, it gives you that chance to completely mana screw them. Not a good chance, but a chance. This hand has too few lands. Mulligan. This hand has enough lands. We'll keep it. And I guess we'll dump Droid Disruption. Actually, maybe dump Tide Shaper. So I have 3 lands to curve. Well, actually, I can't curve with Droid Disruption, so we'll just dump that. And if I need to throw some, I can force negate some. Force negate, pitch Tide Shaper if necessary. Sort of cool playing with this card. I'd love to play with more. I'd like, you know, I always wanted to play with more of these types of cards that double as a spell. But they're usually pretty awkward. Oh, you know what's really awkward? Tide Shaper. After I play my Chalice of the Void. That's super awkward. Maybe I should have kept that land. Emergency Eject. This is instant speed. Destroy target non-land permanents controller creates a lander token. No, I'm not going to create anything. How would I create nothing? In my opinion. Okay, draw a creature, which is fine. Okay, here's the beginning of these shenanigans. Oh yeah, this Harbinger is... Well, Harbinger is not completely worthless. Opponent creates 2 map tokens. Okay, maps it is. But I need creatures in play to use these on. So Harbinger of the Seas is not bad because there's still tons of these cards and other utility cards that that get shut off, including like Ghost Quarter, for example. Ghost Quarter not gonna get shut off soon though. Okay, this is getting really dicey. These Flare of Denials are worthless unless I get a 3rd land in play. Also, this Disrupting Shoal is super awkward. Okay, I got a Cavern of Souls. So what do I want to start off with here? Probably... Well, I don't have to worry about 1 mana disruption, I guess. Okay, we'll just start off with Harbinger of the Seas. I guess I flare it. Not something I wanted to do, but something I'm gonna have to do. Do I have room to just wait? Just pass back and forth for a long time? Probably I do. How long can I wait? Oh, drawing this land sucks. Now I don't have a land to go get with my Ghost Quarter. It's destroy target land, right? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to play another Svaeloon. I am technically behind on the board here. Can't lose a map token on our Svaeloon. Hopefully there's not another Solitude. But there is another Solitude. Alright, well, I gotta do this again. This is all bad value. But I'm not ahead is the problem. Our opponent can just keep making Castle Ardenvales, and you could say like, well, let them keep playing Castle Ardenvale. But you know, those tokens add up. It's slightly easier to just hope that our opponent has no, like, it's just a bunch of 1-drops in their hand and they are screwed with their Solitude. Okay, I'm a little bit more inclined to believe now they do have a bunch of 1-drops in their hand and they're screwed with their Solitude. Okay, I will pass the turn here. I might want a Disrupting Shoal, something for 2 mana if that actually comes up. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I think I'm going to counter that. Because I don't want our opponent to find... because that thing can dig for Erratless guys. Okay, we can put a Lord in play. I think I'm just going to pass the turn here with this mana up. If our opponent goes for Erratless guys on 2, I can sack the board still. Not a pleasant thing to do, but, you know, it's an option. See? Okay, we're going to get hit for 4, which is not the end of the world. But we are losing. I mean, they have a 3-turn clock on the board. That was a pretty bad draw. They have a 3-turn clock because they can activate Castle Ardenvale at least once. Okay. Doing this the old-fashioned way. Well, we're drawing lands, if that matters. Maybe they're just not on a land destruction plan all that much here. Actually, now that I think of it, have we seen even like a red card out of this deck? Does that change anything? Probably not. Come on. What does Consign hit? Consign can hit Solitude. Consign can hit Maze Mine Tome. Consign hits... I'm trying to think what else it hits. Okay, I think that's okay. I don't think I mind what happened. Like, our opponent had like 2 Solitudes at an opportunity that was just really bad for us after we already slammed a Chalice on the battlefield. Now, the only awkward thing is, okay, now that I think about it, I don't know what M. Hayashi's deck is. Maybe it's just, is it a mono white deck? For all I know, it's actually just a mono white deck. It doesn't actually have any of the Panza elements. I mean, it has some in the form of Ghost Quarter and Field of Ruin and probably Demolition Field. Now I think of it, I didn't really look hard at his deck list. I just saw some white cards and Kahira and a lot of the usual suspects. There's definitely Path and Erode, so we do need Chalice. Disrupting Shoal is probably really clunky. Okay, let's replace that with a Lord. Okay, submit. Even the Lords are sort of clunky against this deck too. Two really awful land drops. Sure. No, maybe this hand is just too slow. I'm going to play this Jwari Disruption to another Jwari Disruption. Really do nothing. A Hand of Lords is really weak. I'm going to mulligan. This hand's a lot better. Oh, but we do. Oh, no, we do have a land. Okay, that's good. We have land. We have protection. We have everything. Okay, we'll dump the Tide Shaper this time, knowing what we're going to do for the next few turns. Field of Ruin is already on the battlefield. Well, unfortunately, we don't have our 3rd land drop for either Namer or Harbinger of the Seas. Yeah, we could let that resolve. Land? Okay, we do get the land. What goes first, though? Probably Namer. Probably Namer comes first. And then Harbinger of the Seas. And then if we have to sack Harbinger for some reason, we will. Actually, I mean, I could just not play... Like, if they cast anything, I could force negate, pitch Harbinger of the Seas, and we just try to win with Namer. And then we have Flare of Denial up on a future turn. That also works for me. And now we have Hexcatcher. That's also cool. Okay, let's just attack. Let's just pass the turn. I can play Hexcatcher at end of turn. Okay, play Vidalian Hexcatcher. I guess the only thing that could threaten me here is what's it called? What's the activation here? 4 mana? Too much mana. Got a Sphaloon now. Okay, let's attack for 4. Okay, let's slam a Harbinger of the Seas now. Why not? I can sack the Hex Catcher for Flare of Denial if necessary. And I can pitch this Phaelin to a Force Negation if necessary. Okay, so here comes Solitude. Yeah, we will attempt to counter this. Okay, we lose a Mutavault, but we're going to get an island, which is fine. But Castle Ardenvale is offline. Oh, is this drawing cards every single time? Oh, it does draw cards. Forgot about this damn thing. Wrath of God, which we can counter. Get more creatures. But, I mean, we're vulnerable now. I'm attacking for only 12. Okay, I'm not attacking for only 12. I'm attacking for way more than 12. Boom! Oh, I see. So Maze... Oh, is this enough? I think I'm still attacking for lethal, unless our opponent has Fine Solitude. It is exactly lethal. It was exactly to win the match. Fascinating. Namor does it. Also, our top deck did it. Did it. For all I know, M. Hayashi had another... maybe I had to counter that damn thing. The Maze Mind Tome. That drew him like 4 cards. How many cards did it draw? It drew a million cards. It was a lot of cards. More cards than I would like to admit. Okay, so that was round 3, and I'll see you all in round 4. We lost the die roll, and we've got a hand. Yeah, I guess this is good enough to keep. Real question is, am I going to play a Tideshaper naked on turn 1? Am I going to play that Tideshaper naked on turn 1 versus the Urza Saga deck? Maybe not. Or am I? If I play it on turn 1, I can go like Silvergill Adept turn 2, or even Lord turn 2, Harbinger turn 3. I'm guessing actually this is Amulet. So if this is Amulet, having Tideshaper on turn 1 might be better than not, so that we can have access to just more power on the battlefield to win as soon as possible. We just gotta hope that we don't die. In fact, if I don't draw any interaction, I might actually have to play Silvergill Adept on turn 2. Oh, it's Affinity. They just turned my Tideshaper online. Okay, Emery hits the board. This actually might be okay too. So we can go now Master the Pearl Trident into Namor. Ooh, draw a Disruption. We could disrupt our opponent. How could we do that? What's in the graveyard? There's a Tormod's Crypt, which is actually pretty good for us. That's a pretty crappy card. I'm trying to just figure out what's probably in our opponent's hand. Not that red enchantment. Probably a Kappa Cannoneer. Man, it'd be nice to have a Chalice of the Void right now. I could go for one. I could go for one. Do you know what? If our opponent does have like a Kappa Cannoneer hand, this probably is just fine to empty our hand, play Namor, and race. Do our best job at racing. Okay, this is gonna float mana. Or do you know what? You know, didn't think about is yeah, with Urza Saga, get the red mana with Mox Opal, then play the red enchantment. Yeah, weapons manufacturing. Although I couldn't play around that, or not very well anyhow. Do we have the mana to activate that? We do, between Urza Saga. So, but we don't have many of those what's called munition cards. Okay, we have 1 munition token. And popping this thing is still going to be painful. And we have a Kappa Cannoneer, which is also going to make a munition token, which also triggers the Kappa Cannoneer. Okay, we have a 6-power Kappa Cannoneer. Another Harbinger of the Seas, which is pretty useless here. pretty useless. I love how we're always on the draw versus aggro. Every single time. And actually, we had a chance here. We had a pretty good chance. Drawing... Actually, do you know what? Drawing Chalice of the Void in this game would have been nothing. It wouldn't have done much, I should say. Okay, we're going to play our land. I'm just sort of looking at this board. How do I want to lose? You know? We got Nammer, but now we don't have any synergy with Nammer at the moment. Because we don't have any free spells to pitch to this thing. Our entire attack is going to be stifled by this engineered explosives popping and then blowing up all these munitions at our... I think it could be even at our face. Oh, another Kappa Cannoneer? Okay. With still 2 mana up for the engineered explosives. So we're going to get hit for 8. We go to 7. And we don't have any reasonable way to come back from here. And our opponent's empty-handed now. Is this enough to kill me? It is, actually. Okay, so Cap Cannoneer will attack for 10. They can blow the munitions and deal 8 to us. Okay. We are up against Affinity. What do I want? I sort of want nothing. Do I want to upgrade any of my cards to Dismember? How good is Disrupt? Okay, Disrupting Shell is actually really good because it hits that munitions card. I should really remember what the stupid name is, but it hits the munitions card. And that's like half the ways you lose, is just them playing this munitions card. They spew out a bunch of stuff. So I like all those cards. Harbinger of the Seas we probably should shave on. It's not really that important. We'll bring in some Dismembers to deal with Emery. And that's about it. Sometimes they play a creature that can also spew a bunch of creatures on the battlefield. But oh no, sorry, they of course they play a creature. They play what's its face? The Pinnacle Emissary. Yeah, that's pretty important. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Sort of feel like playing some Hexcatcher just to like get the game over with as quickly as possible, but it's also sort of a weak card. I don't mind having like, I honestly don't mind having like 1 to 2 Harbingers in these matchups just to shut off future Urza Sagas that get played. Also just gives you Island Walk if you don't have it. This is a pretty mediocre hand. Very mediocre. If we don't have Island Walk, this hand does nothing. Okay, there is some advantages to this hand. If we go Lord, we dodge... what's it called? Whip Flare. But that's about it. Wish I could have a slightly more powerful hand than that. There is another advantage to this hand in that we have Cavernous Souls, so we can play around Mystical Dispute, and well, maybe they don't have Mystical Dispute, but they've had some... the Rebuke. Okay, I'll keep. But it's definitely on the weaker side. You know, I'd like to see some Nammer action. What else would I like to see? Nammer. Chalice of the Void, of course. Chalice of the Void is one of the few cards that would definitely help us win the game very, very quickly. Skateboard, that can resolve. Well, you want to tap my island, do you? Alright, it's tapped. You did it. Fortunately, they played an island. Oh, that changes a lot. We drew the Flare of Denial. Now I feel a little incentivized to play our Silver Gilded up first. Okay, so we have like a few more options with Flare of Denial. Okay, we got Force of Negation. The Claws of Gix. That resolves. Oh, they are going. It looks like they're going for the Kappa now. Oh, they're not going for the Kappa. I'll let Emery resolve. I don't like Emery, but... Oh, is this an artifact that can harass me constantly? Well, I can ignore it. Oh! Oh, look at that! Look at that. That was pretty cool. That wasn't too bad. But they don't have white mana for Portable Hole yet. Yet. They're going to draw 2 cards a turn here. Hopefully we start just beating their face in. Oh! Okay, so now what's more important? Well, we don't have to worry about Portable Hole because we have Force Negation in hand. Should not be a big deal. So we will play our Silvergill Adept, attack for 3. I'll just play Chalice on 0, and that should deal with the absolute grand majority of the nonsense that would be played from our opponent, and we'll just keep curving, playing lands to curve out. There's even a world at this point where I could just let our opponent do whatever they want, and oh, sorry, like we don't even play anything for the next few turns. Engineered Explosives on 2. I'm going to say no to that. Okay, next we're going to attack for 7. Hopefully lethal on the following turn. Silvergill Adept. That is... It's actually a reason to play Silvergill Adept now. And maybe we can draw a land. We did draw a land. Okay. A land's a land. It's not a beautiful land to see, but good enough. Alright, so this should be lethal by next turn. Because now we can just sack a random Silvergill Adept to this Flare of Denial. And we win. Alright. Fortunately, our opponent had like a really slow mopey hand to our slow mopey hand, and that's how we ended up getting the W there. I'm just thinking, is not Eaten by Piranhas is just worse than Dismember. Just keep Dismember. Yeah, you really need something for Pinnacle Emissary turn 1. And yeah, I think we have too many good cards in our deck to play with Consigned to Memory, so we're just going to submit it back. Not really thrilled with this hand on the draw. We're doing literally nothing for 2 turns versus a deck that should obliterate us. What did our opponent do? Well, they mulligan to 6. This is... Like, I sort of like the hand. What, we do nothing on turn 1. Turn 2, we can play Lord. Turn 3, we can play Namor and have Flare of Denial up. And we even have Flare of Denial up on turn 2. If they go for a Kappa Cannoneer by around turn 3-ish. We're still not doing anything too early. I think I'm going to mulligan. I like this hand a lot. No lands. Can I keep it? Can I keep this hand? I got 2 Lord of Atlantises. I can play stuff for free with Disrupting Shoal, and I have Chalice of the Void. What did they do? They kept. I am incredibly tempted to just keep this. I am so incredibly tempted to keep this. I have Dismember for a random 1-drop. Do I really need to be that crazy? That's like a little too crazy. Okay, let's just not do it. This is... Don't be too crazy, Nikachu. Don't be too crazy. I don't win so many of those. Okay, I guess we're gonna keep this. Oh, this. Honestly, I'd rather go back to the last hand that I had. I would rather go back to the last one because a lot of the most important card. Oh, sorry, no, that's not true. Okay, so we can disrupting shoal some sort of uh, munitions expert thing, or the munitions card. Okay, we'll say done to here. We don't die yet. Fetch. Oh, I guess they looked at the top card of their library. What are you afraid of? I can't stifle you in this format. They get a card. We also get a card. So I guess we're going to play Sink into Stupor. I do not want to pay 3 life. And I'm going to prepare for what I assume is going to be that turn 2 what is it called? Weapons manufacturing? Ugh. Urza Saga. Interesting, they're doing nothing. Very interesting. Okay, hopefully they could have some red removal, but hopefully they just have counter spells, which are no match for our Cavern of Souls. Okay, good. They have. It looks like they have counters. They have counter spells. They also have a lot of islands. Claws of Gix. Yes. Okay, so they don't have weapons manufacturing. So it's going to be a race between their Kappa Cannoneer and our Master of the Pearl Trident, which actually means that Chalice of the Void hand would have been great. Yeah, that's going to resolve. I don't have any... Couldn't do anything about that. Now, we might... No, we're not actually going to race. This Urza Saga is going to be... Is that Urza Saga going to be a problem? Damn, I needed that last turn. Activate... Yeah, this looks poor. I'm just going to attack. The problem with Tide Shapering the Urza Saga is that it's just going to keep making like a bunch of tokens. So I will just dispel everything that we have in our hand. You know what's sad? Destroy Disruption could actually counter this Kappa Cannoneer, but this is a bit too much of a tap-out type of deck. This whole Urza Saga survives Blood Moon and Harbinger of the Seas interaction is just dumb. It's just dumb, in my opinion. Dispatch. Ah, it's 1 mana. I can't deal with Dispatch. We might have had a chance. If that didn't exist. No, we just lost. Oh well. But I'm happy how the game played out, because I think there's just a lot of room for us to win versus this deck. If like how game and 2 and 3 play out like on a pretty regular basis, I think that's good for Merfolk. Just imagine if we had Chalice of the Void in this game. We probably win. I mean, I don't know what the last card in their hand is. It's yeah, I just don't know what the last card in their hand is. I'm guessing it might be Mystical Dispute, or it could be anything. Like they just played like a few land drops on the first few turns and did nothing. They were going to go for a slower game, but by playing that slower game, they ended up being vulnerable to Chalice of the Void that would just shafted all of these cards, preventing the Kappa Cannoneer from coming out. And I think our Dirtily Creatures would have won. But then goes the breaks. It's still a very powerful, aggressive deck. Anyway, that was round 4. Let's move on to round 5. Round 5, I won the die roll, thank God, but this hand has too few lands. We're going to mulligan. This hand also has too few lands. Probably going to have to mulligan this again. Just gotta do what we gotta do around here. Yeah, I mean, the hand has just. I mean, there's some positive things about this hand is that there's a lot of free spells in it, but I can't cast my 3-drops, which is the most concerning. All right, we can keep this, and the hand looks quite promising overall. Keep. I actually think we'll go on the Mana Screw plan and the Chalice of the Void Screw plan. Hopefully one of these plans work out for us. We just need one of them to work out. And by the way, we can play Chalice on 1 and still successfully put Cavern of Souls on and still play Tide Shaper through a Cavern of Souls. Ancient Stirrings. Is this going to be... Okay, let's see what they go get. This isn't Hardened Scales, is it? Oh, it's Eldrazi Temple. Okay, so I hard regret having this Chalice of the Void. I think it's going to be useless. I think it's going to be close to useless. Very, very close. I threw away our 3rd land. Okay, Merfolk. Please don't have Eldrazi, don't have Kozilek's Command on me. Please, just don't. For the love of God, just don't have it. Please. I'm sticking with my plan, chat. I'm sticking to the plan. It requires ripping a land in a deck that doesn't have a whole lot of lands in it. Oh, by the way, effectively we're at a mulligan of 4 here. Delighted Halfling. Oh, wow. Chalice on 1 was actually really good. It was way better than I thought. Oh, I should have known by the Ancient Stirrings. Yeah, this is the Blade of the Bloodchief deck. In that case, we just lost. I don't think Brood Scale is legendary. Can you add 1 mana of any color? Spend this mana only to cast a legendary spell. So let's continue to attack the green mana. No green mana for you. No Ancient Stirrings for you. Okay, if I was a little bit smarter, and by a little bit I mean a lot, I should have played the Chalice on 1 on turn 2. Because there's a lot of 1-drops in this, which maybe not a lot, but there is a good chunk of... Is there? Maybe there isn't. I don't remember how many blades there are, because they use Urza Saga also as, I believe, a means of finding their Blade of the Bloodchief. Okay, let's see what's up. Can I for once not be up against a Kozilek's Command deck? Also, I mean, I want to mention again, maybe the game was very close to over if we could just get this Harbinger of the Season play on turn 3. It's possible after this league, my next adjustment is to like add another land to this deck, even if it's like a hydroelectric specimen or something, you know what I mean? Well, as usual, I cannot dodge this card. It's like in it's in every single one of my opponent's hands. Every single one. And at the moment, the Eldrazi decks are not egregious enough to get this thing banned. It was a very... I still think this is a... It's either between this or... I want to say this was a bad design mistake, or the adding another soul land into the format was a bad design mistake. Is this where I'm going to draw my last land? No, it's not. Oh, it looks like they scryed. Mind you, I could have had the third land if I just kept it in my hand. But I wanted that Chalice of the Void, chat. I wanted the Chalice of the Void. Oh, you have another green source, do you? Loveland Rumble. You can go get... It's supposed to be a permanent, right? So I guess they got the Emrakul. Blade on Delightful Halfling. Are you going to be on defense? The old block... Because Blade of Bloodchief says when a creature dies, like an Eldrazi spawn, put a +1/+1 counter on the equipped creature. And if the creature is a vampire, you put 2 of them. But the point is they could block a Tideshaper and crack the spawn. Okay, so the downside is that between Delighted Halfling and the spawn creature token, how about I attack with just this Tideshaper and we try to get the spawn off the battlefield? Because if our opponent doesn't have access to double colorless, that might make their entire game a little bit more awkward. Or would it be awkward enough? They also have access to like 4 mana, which is a lot of mana. Okay, let's just play Harbinger of the Seas first. See if they're going to float mana off of this. I don't think they have any reason to, even if they had another Kozilek's Command. Okay, and we'll attack with the Tideshaper. Do we attack with the Tideshaper that doesn't matter? I think I'm going to attack with the Tideshaper that doesn't matter. I am fine exchanging this for this. Because that also makes it a little bit less, with 1 less spawn token in play, it makes it a little bit harder for our opponent to cast the... I'm pretty sure they got Emrakul. Yeah, they chose Emrakul. So we need to make Emrakul as clunky as possible. What do we got? Source, we have, what is this? It's also... Kindred. Okay, instant, kindred, sorcery, land. So it's 4 cheaper, which makes this thing 9 mana. We're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's fine. Okay, we are sacking that thing, so we're exchanging a Tideshaper. For the it's like I felt like I stone rained my opponent. That's the way I look at it. Is this a vampire? Why to get 2 tokens? Whenever a creature dies, put a +1/+1 counter on equipped creature. If it's a vampire, are you a halfling citizen? What am I missing here? I'm missing something. Okay, here's the good news, chat. We got Nammer. Let's play Nammer. Nammer is sort of big. Big enough. The next question is, what do I put this... I guess the next best thing is just put Chalice on 1. Oh, this Harbinger... I've never been so happy to see this Harbinger of the Seas versus so many Urza Sagas. Actually, they have Dismember in the deck. If I draw 3 lands, putting Chalice on 3 seems like not a bad idea. Okay, well, we're going to play another Harbinger of the Seas as insurance. Attack for 4 in the air now. You don't have Reach, Delighted Halfling now, do you? I don't think so. If we can get our opponent down to 4, that would be perfect. No! Okay, how far are we now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh no, Emrakul's coming next turn. Oh no, Rumble can put cards in the graveyard, so it's possible we're seeing a we're gonna see it this turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There is now Artifact in the graveyard. I think that's it. So now it's 8. That's funny. Still not happy to see an Emrakul. So what, do I attack with everything? So I can play Harbingers of Seas, attack with everything. They kill off something. They take 7, go to 5. Seems reasonable to me. Also, we get rid of one Eldrazi spawn if that matters. Flooding out on Harbinger of the Seas in a weird way. Nammer's not doing anything, which is very frustrating. So by making this attack, they kill off one creature here. When they play Emrakul, they'll definitely kill off 2 more creatures. And then the fact, well, I'm assuming this, yeah, I assume the spawn is going to block something. So they can take to 7, go to 5, and then we can just rip an Island Walk Lord and hopefully win the game. Oh, it was when my creature died too, the blade triggered. Gotcha, okay. And by the way, we'll have 2 draws after they play Emrakul. 2 draws to draw this Lord of Atlantis. So they're going to help us. We got 2 draws to find a Lord of Atlantis or Master of the Pearl Trident. I have won through an Emrakul so many times because Emrakul actually helps me draw cards. Funny enough. Lord? Not a Lord. Maybe next turn. Because they can make us send the entire team, and they'll like block this, and then we have potentially 4 power to get into for a victory. It's funny, they can't even make us pay 3 life off of the specimen. I guess they can put Chalice on 0 if they wanted to. Chalice on 2! That was so big-brained! Okay, we are actually screwed now. Now what can I do? Yeah, so I should have actually played my Chalice. We got another Hydroelectric Specimen, which is useless. Okay, pass the turn. That was such a good idea on our opponent. I feel so outplayed there. You know, at the very least, I could have played Chalice on 1. Attack for 3. Sorry, attack for 13. Got a spawn. Which, I don't know. Oh, I guess there's more force in the deck. Okay, you got a spawn. I think the game's over, honestly. I think the game is over. That Chalice play wrecked me. I got wrecked by my own card. Pithing Needle on Mutavault seems reasonable. Play a Specimen at end of turn. Just does nothing. Got another Chalice of the Void. That's not what I wanted. What did I remove for Chalice? I can't remember. Chalice in the main deck has not served me very well, even though in theory it should. In theory it should. Okay, what do I want here? Dismember 100%. I'm going to side out the Chalices here, even though they do have a bit of a purpose. My biggest problem is that Urza Saga can find the necessary 1-drops. And I don't like that. Okay, Eaten by Piranhas looks pretty good. Well, Consigned Memory also looks very good. Maybe Consigned Memory is better than Force of Negation. Flare Denial looks fine because it hits literally everything. Anything and everything. Harbinger of the Seas is great. Nammer, I'm assuming is good. Flies over all the other stuff. We'll pitch maybe... I think I like Disrupting Shoal because there's a lot of lowish mana cards that I think I also want to hit off of with this card. So the problem with Force of Negation is I think the only things, like the most important card that I want to hit is Kozilek's Command, and that is very often going to be played on our turn, making this very, very clunky. It does have other targets like Malevolent Rumble, Ancient Stirrings. I really don't mind hitting those cards either. We can hit those cards too at sort of hit those cards too at Disrupting Shoal. Actually, we can really hit those cards because Consigned to Memory in the main deck is good. How many creatures I have left? 23. Okay, we'll dump one Silvergill Adept. Play the rest of this. We have... Hand is okay. It's actually really dubious. It's dubious because it doesn't do anything. It's very disruptive. It's an incredibly disruptive hand. It's also very expensive. But it has Harbinger of the Seas, and that's hard to pass up. Very hard to pass up. Turn 1 Saga. Vexing Bauble. Sure. I actually forgot that they played that card. Fortunately, Disrupting Shoal is still playable versus this deck otherwise. So Saga's going to wasteland itself by turn 3. Maybe to get a Brood Scale. I'm sorry, maybe to get a Blade of the Blood Chief. Or not. Okay, you got a Blade of the Blood Chief. Actually, okay, now we're going to counter the Saga. It is going to be a wasteland. Kozilek's Command for 1. Sure. And this is going to be poor value, but I'm going to kill off this Eldrazi spawn token. It was turn 3, yeah, so they're... No, they're not starving for lands, because this was a land drop. I'm still going to kill this thing off. I don't want them to have colorless mana. If we can draw a land, play Harbinger of the Seas, that'd be great. Nope. It would seem like this deck needs another land. It needs at least one more land. It's what I'm feeling here, chat. I'm feeling like this deck just does, it's like a land short. Every single game, we're just a little short on lands. Although I have to admit, like, this would be totally awesome if it wasn't for the stupid Vexing Bauble. Actually, every single one of our free spells is being disrupted right now by this 1-mana idiot. Which is funny. This card is, like, protecting combo decks harder than anything else. Counter target spell if its mana value is X. You know what we could really use right now? Consigned to Memory. Because Consigned to Memory, we could pitch this thing, this triggers, then we consign it, and then it works. It'd be a 3-for-1, but still it would work. Okay, this resolves. Whenever a creature dies, put a +1/+1 counter on this thing. Oh my god, we cannot get our third land. Mind you, I don't even know where this game would go, even if we had the Harbinger of the Seas in play, because they do have a Forest in play. So it'd still get Broodscale online. So how does this work? You get a counter, so you don't have enough mana to equip and also activate at the same time. Or maybe they do, they're just going to go for the attack first. Free attack. Why not? Okay, they decide to do nothing. I'm not even in a position to play Harbinger of the Seas right now. That is so awkward. Okay, it's gonna pass. I guess pitch Disrupting Shoal. Or maybe not. You want to adapt this thing. Okay, the adapt happens, and we can actually consign this part. Whenever a creature dies, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Yeah, we can actually consign that part of this spell. So they can't combo off. Yet. I mean, like, there's so many opportunities. I mean, the Malevolent Rumble would combo off. Yeah, okay. This Vexing Bauble is doing a lot of work versus us. And they drew the land, yeah. All right. Good games. I had enough. Even if they don't go for a combo, I mean, they can go for the combo whenever they want. So we go 2-3, which is not the result that I wanted, but I also think it was just a result of, we could say it was from running bad, but also probably just a design mistake. How many lands do we have total in this deck? We have 6, 8, 9, 10, 14, 17... 21. Probably we need one more at least. So like maybe another hydroelectric, maybe the 4th hydroelectric specimen. Maybe even the Glasspool Mimic, even though Glasspool Mimic is like super clunky in this deck. The 3-drops are hard. Like they're just hard to cast. They're just super brutal to cast, and we depend on them so much, and we just can't get them online. I might even look into see like I don't know if these are all the spells that can be played that has a spell, like that's a spell land. So I might look into see if there's anything else. I mean, this probably is it, between Droid Disruption, Hydroelectric Specimen, Sink into Stupor. But there might be a few others that might be good for us that I'd want to jam in here. And probably an easy shave would either be maybe theoretically 1 Nammer, theoretically 1 Silvergill Adept, theoretically 1 Lord of Atlantis in order to make room. Or even like one of the pitch spells. It's possible, like, you know, shave 1 Disrupting Shoal. Gotta shave something, or even shave Chalice of the Void and put the 4th one in the sideboard for the appropriate decks. Chalice in the main, damn. I mean, I feel some more comfort with it in the main deck. It did not help us though. I wanted to shore up our bad matchups, and we still lost. We still lost to Affinity. Damn it, we still lost to the Affinity. Some good news though. A lot of the games were close. There were 2-1s all around, except for against the Broodscale deck, which if I was a little bit smarter, maybe I could have played Chalice on 1 in game 1 and made it like a tougher game for the rest of the game. Anyway, that's going to be our league for today. I hope Modern didn't change very much, because it might have changed a lot. Apparently there was like a BNR last Monday. So by next week we might have an entirely new metagame, but I doubt it, because it looks like Modern is somewhat balanced. It's not bad. It's not good for Merfolk necessarily, but it's like balanced in the overall grand scheme of things. This has been Nikachu, Merfolk Master, playing Nammer Merfolk, the free spell version of Merfolk in Modern.